Hello, hello. Welcome to Reading Time. My name's Time, and this week we're reading Matilda by Roald Dahl. Let's get to reading. Matilda by Roald Dahl is a story about a girl with extraordinary intelligence and abilities who comes from a less extraordinary background. And she uses these gifts that she's been given to help out those around her. I'm going to give Matilda a 4 out of 5-star rating. I know for a lot of people that Matilda probably has a large place in their nostalgic heart, but upon reading it this time around, some of the content was something that I personally didn't enjoy. And I think I'm also finding out about myself that maybe I don't like whimsical stories as much as I thought I did. There's something about Matilda specifically and the fact that she has kind of these magical capabilities almost that she practices with and uses, and there seems to be some rules and restrictions with it, and then these abilities up and vanish once she is able to help out another character. So, as I said, some of the content was something that I personally didn't enjoy. Most of the content has to deal with abuse to children. And really, there's a few different types of abuse present in this story. Some of the first that we see is neglect, as Matilda is left alone at home when she is about 4 years old. Her parents don't know what she does or where she goes during the day, and they really don't care. I would also tie in some emotional abuse in that as well, as they're always accusing her of being a bad child or being dumb or other things like that that really don't fit with who Matilda is. As Matilda gets old enough to go to school, we see additional forms of child abuse as she goes and meets the headmistress of the school. Miss Trunchbull, the headmistress, is a despicable character. She doesn't like children, but she works with them as the headmistress for this school. And as such, she doles out punishments. And many of these punishments are physically abusive. She pulls children up by their ears or hair. There's an Iron Maiden-esque device that children are sometimes put in if they misbehave. And later on in the book, we find out that she became the caretaker for her niece at one point and would hit her niece and was physically abusive at home as well. So this content definitely made it difficult for me to enjoy the book on any level, but I did still find it a good book. So I am giving it 4 stars instead of 3. Even with the content, this book is meant to be read at about a 2nd through 4th grade reading level. This book is a bit thicker than some of Roald Dahl's other books. Fantastic Mr. Fox was probably about half this size, if not smaller. So this book is a little bit longer than his other books and takes a little bit longer to get through, but there's still a lot of pictures on a lot of the pages. So I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a slow read. It is still a quick read. It's just a little bit more advanced than something like Fantastic Mr. Fox. I go back and forth a little bit with this book in regards to if I do think that it is a good book for kids, and especially kids who may be in abusive situations. Because on the one hand, it shows that it's possible to get out of these situations. In the end, all of the adults who are abusing or neglecting these children are taken out of the picture. They disappear from the story. So on the one hand, there's a positive light that even if you are in a situation like that, that doesn't mean that that has to be the rest of your existence. However, on the other side of things, I don't like that the even good adults in this story are not stopping the abuse from happening, even when they see it happening in front of them. So, for example, Matilda's teacher in the book, her name is Miss Honey, and she sees all that Ms. Trunchbull does. In fact, we find out at the very end of the book that Miss Honey was actually the niece that Ms. Trunchbull took care of and abused as a child. So I think I find it difficult that in a story that has all of this whimsy with Matilda having magic powers and with the ridiculous nature of some of the events that transpire in the book, I find it difficult that Roald Dahl kept in the realities of abuse, in that sometimes people who go through it when they're younger have a hard time fighting against it when they're older. And unfortunately, abuse oftentimes goes unnoticed or unreported, which should never be the case. So this book is a little tricky for me because of that. I think that it shows a positive side, that abuse doesn't have to be the end all of everything. But I really wish that Roald Dahl had found a different way to write, especially Miss Honey, and to have her not be saved by the child, but to maybe save the child instead. I'm going to pause for a moment and just say that if you do think that you have seen someone who is experiencing abuse, or even if you're not quite sure, but you think it might be happening, that there are resources out there to report the abuse and to get those people the help that they need, both the person being abused and the abuser. I'll put some links for those resources down in the description of the video if you are interested. Sorry, I know that this video is going to have a little bit more serious content than some of my other videos and may seem a little bit more subdued because of that. But I do think that it is important to bring up when there are potential triggers in a book, or when the content may be something that an individual might just not want to read. I think it's important for readers to be informed before they go into a situation like that. Now's the time for the poster segment of our video, and Matilda is right here at the top. It shows a little head outline of Matilda from the movie. Let me know what you thought of Matilda in the comments below, and if you have any other suggestions for Roald Dahl books or children's books in general. I do believe we're reading at least one more, maybe two more Roald Dahl books over the course of this reading adventure, so we will be revisiting him later on. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you are interested in following along with this reading challenge. You can also follow me on either Facebook or Instagram for pictures and updates when I post videos as well. The links for both of those are also in the description of the video. Now, as always, I hope that you have a marvelous week and a wonderful read.